Good morning, one and all, and welcome to Professor Jagdish Mudegavkar's YouTube channel. In a previous lesson, we already discussed about the energy, different forms of energies, and their classification. Our subject is energy and environmental engineering, and myself, Professor Mudegavkar JL, working as an assistant professor in Karmayogi Engineering College, Shelve, Pandharpur. Today we are going to discuss about the generation of electricity using a conventional energy source, and that conventional energy source is nothing but the coal, or it may be a petroleum product like diesel, petrol, kerosene or oil, or it may be a natural gas. So using these conventional energy sources, the electricity is generated in thermal power stations, and these thermal power stations are also called as steam power stations. Now, what is the objective of today's lecture? The objective of today's lecture is to understand the working of steam power plant. Also, we must discuss about the different components used in steam power plant. In this lesson, we will discuss about the advantages of steam power plant, then disadvantages of steam power plant, then how the site is selected for steam power plant, or which parameters are taken into consideration while selecting the site for steam power plant. After that, we will discuss about the environmental aspects of steam power plant, and we will also discuss about the different available steam power plants in India. So students, first we will discuss what is meant by steam power plant. So what is power plant? Power plant is nothing but it is the organization, or the power plant is nothing but it is the structure in which the power is generated, means electrical energy is generated with the help of conventional or non-conventional energy sources. So this steam power plant is also called as a thermal power plant, because in a steam power plant we are generating the heat energy, and this heat energy is nothing but the thermal energy, and this thermal energy is converted into steam, and that steam is finally converted into electrical energy. So in India, the large amount of electricity is generated using thermal power stations. In thermal power stations, by burning a coal or by burning a petroleum product or natural gases, the heat energy is produced. This heat energy is applied on water, due to which the steam is produced, and by applying this stream on turbines, the kinetic energy or rotational energy is produced, and again that rotational energy is coupled with the generator. So the generator generates the electricity. So this is the simple concept of a steam power plant. Now, before going to discuss about the schematic diagram of steam power plant, we will discuss about the block diagram of steam power plant, or this block diagram is also called as energy conversion diagram for steam power plant. Now see here. In this steam power plant, the first unit is nothing but a combustion chamber, and this combustion chamber having a input fuel, and this fuel may be a coal, or it may be a petroleum product, or it may be a natural gas. The output of this combustion chamber. So what is the output of this combustion chamber? This combustion chamber output is nothing but the heat energy. This heat energy is given to boiler, and this boiler consists of water tubes where the another input is given to boiler, that is nothing but a water. So one input is heat, another input is water. Now due to this heat, the water is converted into steam in the boiler section. So the output of this boiler is nothing but steam, and this steam is high pressure steam. Now this high temperature, high pressure steam is given to nozzle. So this nozzle is nothing but the mechanical part whose inlet diameter is large compared to outlet diameter. So whatever may be the high temperature steam is applied to this nozzle. Due to this nozzle action, the high temperature and high pressure steam is converted into high velocity steam. This high velocity steam is applied to steam turbine. So what is this steam turbine? This steam turbine is nothing but the mechanism in which the metallic blades are mounted on a shaft, and shaft is free to rotate. Now when this high velocity stream is applied on the turbines of this the turbines gets rotated, and due to this rotational the kinetic energy is generated. This kinetic energy is coupled with the generator, and we know that this generator is nothing but the electromechanical device which converts rotational energy or kinetic energy into electric. Now we are going to discuss about the schematic diagram of steam power plant. Now see this figure. In this figure there are different components. First we will list out the components of this steam power plant. Now see here, the first component is nothing but the air blower. Then the second component is called as a air preheater. Then the third component is called as a furnace. So this furnace is placed at the bottom of this boiler. Then the next component is called as a boiler. So the total this cylindrical structure is called as a boiler, and on the upper top of this boiler there is one chimney, and in this boiler at the bottom the furnace is placed. In the middle section of this boiler water tubes are placed. On the upper section of this boiler air preheater is placed, and the hot flue gases are emitted from this chimney. Then the next component of this steam power plant is called as a water tube assembly. So in the boiler the water tube assembly is placed, and this water tube assembly is in zigzag manner, and this water tube assembly is divided into three parts. The upper one part is called as a economizer, then the middle part is called as a superheater, and the bottom part is called as a actual water heating tubes. Now this is the economizer. Then the next component is nothing but the actual water heating tubes. Then the middle part of water tube assembly is nothing but the superheater section. Then after this nozzle there is one component, and this component is called as a nozzle. Then the next component is called as a steam turbine. the steam turbine output is coupled with the generator, and the exhaust of steam is given to condenser and cooling tower with a feedback pump. And in this schematic diagram, there is one ash handling circuitry is there, and this ash handling circuitry is utilized to minimize the ash or to transport the ash from boiler to any other location. Now, these are the different components of this steam power plant. Now we will discuss one by one, or we will discuss the function of each component. First we will discuss about the air blower. Now see here, this air blower is nothing but it is a blower which collects the air from the surrounding, and now this air is passed in the air preheater. Air preheater is placed on the top of this boiler. So whatever may be the hot flue gases are present at the top, due to these hot flue gases, the collected surrounding air is preheated in the air preheater. Why we are using a air preheater? This air preheater is used to increase the thermal efficiency of the boiler, because whatever may be the waste thermal energy at the top of this boiler is reused for the preheating purpose. So this preheater is used to improve the thermal efficiency of boiler. Now see here, this preheated air is given to furnace. The furnace having another input, and that another input is nothing but the coal, or it may be a petroleum product, or it may be a natural gas. And in this furnace, the actual burning of coal takes place, or the actual burning of fuel takes place, and due to which a large amount of heat is generated. And this heat is generated in the boiler. Now see here, the boiler is nothing but it is a closed cylindrical shaped structure, and in this structure at the bottom the furnace is placed, and at the top of this structure the air preheater is placed. This boiler is also coated with thermal resistive coating. So this thermal resistive coating is used to prevent the workers from the heat, or to prevent the workers from the heat, and also this thermal coating is used to improve the efficiency or to improve the effectiveness of the boiler. Now the next one is nothing but the water tubes. This water tube assembly is placed in the middle portion of this boiler, and this water portion assembly is divided into three parts. The first one is called as an economizer, the second one is called as an actual water heating tubes, and the third one is called as a superheater. Now see here, from this hot well the water is fetched using a feed pump, and this water is passed through economizer. So whatever may be the thermal energy available at that portion, that thermal energy converts the water into steam. Now this steam goes to actual water heating section, and in actual water heating section this steam is converted into high temperature steam. Again the next section is nothing but the superheater, and in the superheater this high temperature steam is converted into high temperature high pressure steam. Now this high temperature high pressure steam is given to nozzle, and we know that this nozzle is nothing but it is a mechanical device whose inlet diameter is large compared to outlet diameter. So the high pressure high temperature steam is converted into high velocity steam with the help of this nozzle. The output of this nozzle is given to steam turbine, and this steam turbine is nothing but it is a mechanism in which the metallic blades are mounted on a shaft, and this shaft is free to rotate. So this steam turbine is also an enclosed mechanism, and when the high pressure high velocity steam is applied to steam turbine, the blades of the steam turbine rotates, and now this rotational energy is coupled with the generator. Now what is generator? Generator is nothing but it is a electromechanical machine which converts mechanical energy or kinetic energy into electricity, and the working principle of this generator is nothing but the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Now see here, by burning a coal we are generating the steam, and this steam is applied on steam turbine. So the kinetic energy is produced, and using this kinetic energy the electricity is produced in this steam power plant. Now again, the another section of this steam power plant is called as condenser and cooling unit. So whatever may be the exhausted heat of a steam turbine, that exhausted heat is passed to condenser unit, and with the help of condenser and cooling tower, that heat is converted into water, or that steam is converted into water, and again that water is reused for generation of steam in the boiler. So this is the simple working of steam power plant, and in this steam power plant we already discussed that the conventional energy source means it may be a coal, or it may be a petroleum product, or it may be a natural gas. This conventional energy source is converted into electricity. Now after working of this steam power plant, we will discuss about the advantages of steam power plant. Why we are using the steam power plants? In case of steam power plant, we are using a coal as a fuel, and this coal is cheaper compared to all another fuels. So the fuel cost in the steam power plant is very less. If we compare this steam power plant with nuclear power plant, the nuclear fuel is nothing but thorium, or it may be a plutonium, or it may be a uranium. So this uranium, plutonium having a more cost if we compare with the coal. So in a steam power plant the fuel cost is very less. This is the advantageous point. Then another advantage of steam power plant is nothing but the requirement of space. In a steam power plant less space is required if we compare the steam power plant with hydroelectric power plant. So in hydroelectric power plant around hundreds of acres of land is required to construct the dam, and in a steam power plant around 25 to 50 acres land is required. So the space requirement in the steam power plant is too much less. Then in a steam power plant, whatever may be the steam generated, this steam generation can be used for the other processes also. So this is also one of the advantage of steam power plant. Steam power plant quickly reacts with the changes in the load in the plant. Suppose there is one load center, suppose there is one MIDC, and due to some causes some extra load is added. So due to this addition of extra load, there is a quickly responding, or there is a quickly response to steam power plant, and accordingly the load can be adjusted. Then the next advantage is nothing but the initial cost or the capital investment is less in steam power plant. Now see here, we will compare this steam power plant with hydroelectric power plant. In hydroelectric, now we are going to discuss about the disadvantages of steam power plant. The important disadvantage of this steam power plant is nothing but its operation cost and maintenance cost. So the operation cost and maintenance cost of steam power plant is high compared to hydroelectric power plant, because in a steam power plant we are burning the coal, due to which the thermal energy is generated. That thermal energy is converted into steam. So whenever there is a thermal operations or whenever there is a pressurized operations, the maintenance and the operation cost of the power plant increases. Now the next disadvantage is, if there is a increase in temperature or if there is a increase in pressure, the cost of this power plant also increases. Means the pressure and temperature, increase in pressure and temperature also increases the cost of power plant. The next one is nothing but in a steam power plant the large amount of water is required, because the working of this steam power plant depends upon the water and there is a large requirement of water. In a steam power plant, generally we are using a coal, and due to burning of this coal, a large amount of ash is produced. And when this ash mixed with the water pollution takes place. When the ash is mixed with the air pollution takes place. And the large amount of ash means the ash disposal becomes a very serious problem. So the coal and ash handling becomes a serious problem. Also, due to burning of coal, the smoke and heat is generated. This smoke causes the air pollution, while the heat causes the thermal pollution, and this also causes the increase in heat or increase in temperature of the surrounding. So the smoke and heat in the plant adversely affects on the health issues. Now the next disadvantage of this steam power plant is, whenever we are going to establish the steam power plant, a long time is required for the erection and putting into the action, because in a steam power plant each and every component must be well set, or it must be leak proof, and it must be connected properly, then and then only the electricity is possible. So these are the disadvantages of steam power plant. Now after these disadvantages, we are going to discuss about the site selection parameters. Now whenever we are going to construct the steam power plants, the following parameters must be taken into consideration, and these parameters are also called as site selection parameters. Now which points or which parameters are taken into consideration? The first point is called as availability of material. Whether that site is suitable for raw material, or whether on that site the raw material is easily available, we have to consider it. Then the second point is availability of land. For the future expansion of steam power plant, or for the first establishment of steam power plant, sufficient amount of land is required, and if the sufficient amount of land is available or not, we have to consider it. Then the nature of land. This is steam power plant having various components, and for these components the foundation is required. So that land must be useful, or that land must be suitable for the heavy construction. So that land, the nature of that land must be suitable for the steam power plant, and this point is also taken into consideration. Then the cost of the land, whether that land is a agriculture land or whether it is a hilly area or it is a seashore area. So we have to consider it, we have to taken into consideration, and we have to consider the cost of that land also. Then availability of water, because in a steam power plant the major input is nothing but the water, and this water must be available at that site. Then availability of skilled person and unskilled laborers. The nearby places of that steam power plant location must have the skilled persons, so the transportation cost of skilled persons can be reduced, or there must be unskilled persons for the unskilled laborers for faithful working of that uh, steam power plant. Then the next site selection parameter is called as a road approach or transportation facility. The steam power plant site must be selected in such a way that there must be a proper road approach, or there must be a proper transportation facility for the raw material or for the labor or for the transportation of machineries. So the road approach and the transportation facility plays a very important role in a site selection parameter. Now the next site selection parameter is called as a distance from the load center. So this distance from the load center decides the transmission line or cost of transmission. So whether the site is nearer to load center or whether that site is far away from the load center, accordingly the cost of electricity depends, or the cost of electricity depends upon the distance of the load center. Then the size of plant. This is also one important parameter while taken into consideration. Then the next one is the public and environmental issues. While selecting the site, we must consider the public and environmental issues of that site also, and we must consider the air pollution density for that site also. So these are the different site selection parameters for steam power plant. Now after these site selection parameters, we will discuss about the environmental aspects. Now in these environmental aspects, the first aspect is the adverse effects of this steam power plant on human being or animals or trees or plants or environment. So what are the environmental aspects of these power plants? Due to these steam power plants, a significant amount of deposition of mercury takes place on soil, and due to which the soil pollution occurs. Then the second aspect is we are burning a coal as a fuel, and due to burning of coal a lot of ash is generated, and when this ash is mixed with the water resource, the water pollution takes place. When this ash is mixed with the air pollution takes place. So this is also the environmental aspects of steam power plant. Then when the coal is burnt in the furnace, or when the coal is burnt in the steam power plant, the air pollutants like arsenic, cadmium, chromium, lead, nickel are emitted in the atmosphere, and due to these air pollutants again the air pollution takes place. Again due to the burning of coal, carbon dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, suspended particles or suspended particulate matters are emitted, and due to this emission the global warming takes place or the pollution of the environment takes place. Then due to the burning of coal, a large amount of heat is generated, and when this heat is exposed in the atmosphere, there is a change in land use pattern, or the soil erosion takes place, or there is a loss of biodiversity, and this is also the environmental aspects due to steam power plant. Whenever there is a civil work in steam power plant, due to which the dust pollution takes place and the noise pollution also takes place due to operation of different machineries. So overall we can say that due to emission of carbon dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, this steam power plant supports, or this steam power plant causes the acid rain, and due to which the crops and forests are damaged. So this is the environmental aspects of steam power plant. Now the another environmental aspects are due to burning of coal, sodium dioxide and hydrogen sulfide are emitted in the atmosphere, and due to these gases the suffocation takes place, or irritation in the throat, irritation in the eyes also takes place, asthma, lung cancer, these diseases are occurred in the human being, and also due to this sodium dioxide and hydrogen sulfide, there is a problem in the crop, and this problem in the crop is called as a growth retardation problem. Now the sodium dioxide also causes the corrosion in the metallic parts. The oxides of nitrogen due to oxides of nitrogen, the irritation in the eyes, nose and throat takes place. Also due to this oxides of nitrogen, cough, headache and lung problems are seeped into the human being. The suspended particulate matters causes the respiratory problems, and these respiratory problems are nothing but the cough, or it may be a cold or sneezing or bronchitis or parasitic diseases. So in thermal power station a large amount of carbon dioxide is produced, and this carbon dioxide causes a global warming. Also the air pollutant like oxides of nitrogen and sodium dioxide, when mixed with the rainwater, then the HNO3 and H2SO4 acids are formed, and these acid causes the acid rain. Also whatever may be the hot water of steam power plant, when discharge in the rivers or discharge in the seas, then the thermal pollution takes place in the rivers and seas, due to which the aquatic life affects. So this is about the environmental aspects of steam power plant. Now we will discuss about some steam power plants in the India. So this tabular presentation shows that the examples of steam power plant available in India. First, we will discuss the steam power plant available in Andhra Pradesh. In Andhra Pradesh, the name of power station is Kothagundam, and this Kothagundam having a capacity of 240 megawatts. In Bihar, there are two steam power stations. The first one is called as Bhokra, having a capacity of 230 megawatts, and the second one is called as Patralu, having a capacity of 400 megawatts. In Delhi, Rajghat and Indraprasth is the name of power station, having a capacity of 350 megawatts, and another power station in Delhi is nothing but Badarpur, and having a capacity of 300 megawatts. In Gujarat, Ukai having a capacity of 240 megawatts, and Dhuvarna having a capacity of 550 megawatts. In Haryana states, Panipat is the name of the power station, and this Panipat having a capacity of 220 megawatts. In MP, there are two power stations. The first one is called as a Cobra, and this Cobra having a capacity of 420 megawatts, and the another one is Satpura having a capacity of 300 megawatts. In Maharashtra, Nashik having a capacity of 280 megawatts, and Koradi Nagpur having a capacity of 480 megawatts. In Orissa, Talcher having a capacity of 250 megawatts. In Tamil Nadu, Innomore having a capacity of 450 megawatts, and Neyveli having a capacity of 600 megawatts. In Uttar Pradesh, Hardaganj having a capacity of 540 megawatts, and Obera having a capacity of 550 megawatts. In West Bengal, Bandel having a capacity of 330 megawatts, then Chandrapur having a capacity of 420 megawatts, Durgapur having a capacity of 290 megawatts, and Satildah having a capacity of 480 megawatts. So these are the different steam power stations available in the India. So today we will stop here, and for your patience listening, I thanks to you. So thank you very much. And at the last, I am thankful to authors of the book. I am also thankful to all informative websites. I am also thankful to mobile apps. I am also thankful to MS Office. I am also thankful to my teachers who always inspires me, and I request you to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so the next coming lessons can be easily intimated to you. For your own assessment, the e-assessment link and feedback form is available in the description. So I request all of you to go for the e-assessment. After e-assessment, you can easily find out your score after submission.